American food is rooted in African American traditions. The soul of African American cuisine has traveled from pre-enslavement with yams and okra of Benin, Africa, to the rice in South Carolina that built this nation's wealth. It was down in South Texas where the last enslaved people were freed on June 19, 1865, commonly known as Juneteenth. It was there that they ate red-colored foods like red velvet cake, which symbolized the blood that was shed for hundreds of years. This was the birth of soul food. It's food that you feel when you eat it. It's food that honors the connection from our ancestors to those living today, to those who have yet to manifest. It's a path that informs many of the modern day phrases that you hear today. High on the hog, which refers to the good feeling that Black folks have after eating every scrap left over from the pig that was served to our colonizers, slave masters, and their families. If you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. Refer to the Dutch ovens and stew stoves with open fires that left many with burns. Soul food isn't only connected to the South. However, Black chefs in the North also created and utilized delicacies from land and sea. Thomas Downing was the Oyster King of New York. In Philadelphia, Hercules and James Hennings were the founding chefs of African American cuisines who cooked for Presidents George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. They also created some of the country's most popular dishes, including macaroni and cheese. It was also in Philadelphia where the Dutrell family created catering and served fancy dishes such as Bellevue broth, crab salad on crackers, greens, and pepper pot stew. Despite their dangerous and at times deadly circumstances, African Americans were able to survive their oppression and create a cuisine that represented their pride, resourcefulness, creativity, and strength. It was good food, God food, soul food. In the early 1800s, there were reports of hotels outside of Philadelphia that served fried catfish and waffles. But due to the scarcity of catfish, they began serving chicken instead. By the 1860s, waffles served with chicken and gravy were common with the Pennsylvania Dutch. The popularity blossomed around the country. A soul food-inspired approach to the pairing worked its way popular culture much later with the opening of Wells Super Club in Harlem in 1938. Now let's talk about grits. Evidence shows that corn was being milled in 8700 BC in Central America. That means people have been cooking ground corn and water over heat for centuries. As far as how it became a part of soul food cuisine, it was rooted in poverty. Grits became the porridge of poor Southerners, particularly slaves who worked on plantations. In the 1930s, cookbook titled 200 Years of Charleston Cooking, the recipe for shrimp and grits was attributed to a 70-year-old African-American butler. It was also connected to the Gullah Geechee people, descendants from the slaves of West Africa.
My earliest memories, probably grandma. She was like the heart and soul of my family. My grandma really had a passion and she really had a knack for like soul food, but we also call it, nowadays comfort food. And those types of dishes, man, it's just real nostalgic, man. Like it really brings you back to like a feel, like a real fuzzy feel, like a real good place, for your youth. I wanted to focus on something, and my concentration be something that was versatile and diverse and sustainable, consistent, all in the same realm. It doesn't really matter what the stereotype is. The fact is, we all come together for food. Like I said, all races combined, we all come together for good food.